Paper, and I am back with another card in my 25 Cards in 25 Days holiday card series. I'll put a link to the playlist in the upper right so you can see what all the cards look like so far. Today I'm back with card number 8, and I'm featuring some fun products from Mama Elephant. Here's a close-up of what the card looks like, and let's get started. The products I'm using from Mama Elephant are the Pixis Happy Holiday stamps, the Merry Greetings sentiment stamps, and the Frame Tags Columbus Circle dies. Unlike card number 7, today's card just has one image to color. It's this really cute image of Pix the rabbit, and at first I thought she was like rolling a giant snowball. Then I noticed the bow tie on the front, and this is actually a giant pack of gifts. So I decided to color it in a series of E40s. It's E42, 43, and 44, I believe. I'm just doing some really basic coloring, and then I'll color her outfit and the bow. So I'm going to set this to some music, and I will be back at the end. Now I'll just take the coordinating die and I'll run that through my die cut machine. And then I'm going to take the frame tag Columbus circle die, and I'm just cutting out the lower right corner of a standard card base. And I still thought this was kind of plain, so then I took the fine trimmings dies, which are these really cool borders. They don't actually cut, they just provide some detail. So I'm taking the stitched fine trimmings, and the spacing is the same as the stitching on the framed tag Columbus circle die. And I'm just running the stitching around the edges of this card. And I'm being careful not to cover up the other stitches that I've made. I don't know why I decided to do that, but I did. And then here I have to be super careful because I don't want the stitching to get into the circle area. So I'm only cutting up to the edge of that the pink cutting plate, so there won't be enough pressure to go over the rest of the circle. This is just going to take it up to the edge of that pink cutting plate. So that is the detail, and now I'm just marking off where that opening is, and I'll do some ink blending. For my distress inks, I'm using the Spun Sugar, Picked Raspberry, and Wilted Violet colors, and I'm going to create a pinkish purplish background. I love this color combination. I'm not too good at making sure it's smooth though. I don't know if maybe the Wilted Violet it's really dark, and so you'll see when I start putting that on, you can see all the circles. Either that or I'm using too much pressure. But distress ink takes a while to apply, and you just have to be very patient. My hand was also getting very sore throughout this process. So you can see it's a little bit blotchy with the Picked Raspberry. But over time, it smooths itself out, and luckily, I just need to make sure it's really smooth in the area where that window cutout is. So it's okay if it looks really messy on the outer borders, as long as this lower corner looks good. The Wilted Violet is really, really dark. So here's what I was talking about. You can totally see my brush strokes and marks in the circles. But eventually it does smooth itself out. I don't know if I could ever fix that part at the very top, but again, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going through each of the 3 colors and just alternating, and eventually I get it down to the point where I do like it. Next, I'm going to take some embossing powder. I'm using this powder bag first, and then I'm just going to stamp all the little snowy dots using Versamark ink. And I'm just kind of stamping randomly. I can't totally see it, but I generally know where it is, and I want to create a little snowy sky. And so I'm using a paintbrush to wipe off the extra embossing powder, and then I'm also like flicking it off the paper. Then I'll take my heat tool and I will set all the little snowflakes. Snow dots, really, because you can't see the flakes, but they are snowflakes. Next, I will take that same powder bag and run it over the front frame. And I'm using the sentiment that says joy to you and me, and I'm just stamping that down in the upper left corner. I'm using my favorite Ranger liquid platinum embossing powder and sprinkling that on top. And then I'm going ahead and setting that with my heat tool as well so that it's shiny and fun. Next, I'm just going to trim some of the edges of the purple pinkish paper just because I don't want it to show behind this joy to you and me I do want it to show obviously in the lower right corner, but I don't want it to show on the edges. So I just want to make it a little bit smaller than this piece of cardstock. And now I'm taking my foam adhesive. I was doing so well, and then I decided I was going to go and frame the rest of it, and now I'm just like putting together all the scraps because I have a lot of scraps of foam adhesive that I just kind of keep lying around. Next, I am taking my tape runner and running it over a standard A2 size card base, and then I'm gluing down the purpley pinkish panel. And then I'm going to take the top panel with the joy to you and me that's stamped on it, and I'm going to glue that to the top. Now there was a tiny little scallop over on the right side, and it was kind of bent and it was pretty weak looking, so I just ripped it off, or rather I cut it off. And that actually gives some breathing room for Pix the rabbit. So I glued her down using some foam adhesive as well. So it's basically where my pointer finger is on my right hand. That's where the little scalloped overhang was that I took off. Now I'm taking a bunch of these really pretty clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm just laying them down. And I am not that great at figuring out placement for sequins. So it takes me a while to like play around and see how I want it to look. And then eventually I get it to where I want it to be. And then I take these micro glue dots. Now these are super tiny glue dots that fit those small sequins. And I'm taking those and lifting each one of the sequins up and then placing the glue dot onto the sequin and then placing the sequin in place. Finally, I will take my Wink of Stella pen and I'll just add glitter all over the card so that it's really pretty and shiny. I'll hold this up to the light so you can see some of the glitter. So here are two close-ups of the finished card. This one was really fast because I was falling behind my schedule with card number 7, so I wanted to make a quick and easy one for card number 8 so that I can catch up. If you're interested in watching other videos in this holiday card series, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can follow me on social media at Bubblegum Paper, or you can visit my blog at bubblegumpaper.com. I'm putting links here to the 2 most recent videos I've made in this series, cards number 6 and 7. You can just click on the video images and it should take you straight to that video. Thanks again, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!